Hello again, I'm Colin with Pre-Closed Home Inspections and Handyman Services here in Ellenwood, Georgia, where we specialize in pre-purchase home inspections and general handyman services. Now today I'm going to talk about worn out and burnt electrical outlets and how you can replace them. Now if you don't feel comfortable working with electricity, then please just use this video as entertainment only. Now there are two types of electricity. You have direct current or DC, which is used in a car. Then you have AC or alternating current, which is used in your home, and that's the one we're going to talk about. Now, I'm not going to get too technical with you other than to say on a typical outlet, you're going to have three prongs. The left is going to be your neutral, which is your larger slot. Your right is going to be your hot, which is your shorter slot. And your bottom is going to be your ground, the circular half moon slot here. So if you ever went to plug something into one of your outlets and you noticed that it was wobbly or it didn't feel tight when you went to plug whatever you were trying to plug in there, and you didn't feel like your appliance turned on, and another case would be where you're using a hot iron or a space heater a lot and these turn brown. So these are going to be the two times when you're most likely going to have to replace your outlet. One is when it's wobbly, is from it being old and losing its tightness and overuse. And then the other one where it turns brown or black here inside is basically because you're using a high current draw appliance like an iron or a space heater, and this is the one outlet that you're constantly using that thing for. And at some point all that high current is gonna cause these to come brittle and brown, and they actually can start burning in the inside that you can't really see. All you're gonna see is this brown, but you're not gonna notice what's really going on back there. Safety hazard, needs to be replaced. So what can you do to replace it? The first step is going to be you need to turn off the power to that particular outlet. Now how do you do that? You go to your breaker box and you find that particular breaker switch that's corresponding with that particular outlet that needs to be replaced, and you turn it off. Now a lot of times you're not going to be able to figure it out. So in order to be safe, if you want to, just go up to the top and turn the entire thing off. And that's going to cut the power to your house, but it's better safe than sorry. Now, as an extra step or an alternate step to turn the power off to everything, you can just purchase one of these at your local Home Depot. It's basically used to find live current in a circuit. And they're only about anywhere from $15 to $30. Now, the way these work is you just turn it on and follow the instructions of it. And when you get close to the outlet, if there's power there, it's going to give you a beep. If there's no power, it's not going to give you any beep. In addition, it's going to have LED lights that light up to let you know. And it's always best to be sure when you're dealing with electricity, because you don't want to get yourself hurt. Now, in addition to this tool here, I recommend a pair of needle nose pliers that can also be used as a wire stripper, a small flathead screwdriver, and a Phillips screwdriver. Then the next step would be to take your small flathead screwdriver, find that center screw in the middle of your cover plate, turn it counterclockwise till it comes off, and your plate will come off too. Then depending on what type of or age of your outlet, you're going to have either Phillips head screwdrivers or ones made for flatheads. And whichever one you got, you use that corresponding screwdriver. And you're going to loosen them both up until you get all the screws out, and then you're going to pull this out and the wires will still be attached in the back. Now the wires will still be attached at that point, but let's go over what the wiring looks like. On the right hand side, you're going to have the black, which is the hot. On the left hand side, you're going to have the white, which is the neutral. And then you're going to have on the bottom wire here, ground, which is a bare unsheathed wire. Now the best way to remember this is all you have to do is remember that black is always small, white is always larger, and ground is always bare ground. Now you're going to have two types of connections that electricians use when they're wiring these circuits. The first is going to be by using the screws on the side. They're normally attached with the Phillips head screw, and you're just gonna loosen them up counterclockwise, and these wires will pop right off after you loosen that screw. And the other way is going to be using the backstab method. Now, a lot of electricians, because they're using in their wiring dozens, if not hundreds of outlets inside of a house, they need to go fast. So they will use the backstab method by just using the bare end of the wire and stabbing it into this hole. And that also will give them a connection. I don't particularly like that one, but that's what they use because they have to speed up the process. Now, to get these out, you're going to have a very small, tiny screwdriver. You're going to stick it in this hole, and then simultaneously, as you're pressing down, you're going to pull that wire out. And if you can't get it out and you find yourself really needing to cut this wire, then only cut it as flush as possible, because sometimes, if you're not careful, you can cut these too short, because that electrician might not have pulled that wire through that wall long enough. And then if you cut it too short, say back here, then it may not have enough wire to reach your outlet again, and you would have to have someone come in and add a new piece of wire just so you can get it back in. Now, once you get all these wires off to install the new one, you're going to need a needle nose pliers, and that's only if you actually don't have an existing loop bent from the previous installation. Most of the time it's already going to have that loop, but if that wire happens to break off, you're going to need to bend a new loop. And if you had the sheathing too far up, you would really just use these wire cutters and pull it like this and snap that piece of insulation off. But most times you won't need that. And this is how this tool is used. You would just lightly turn it, hold light pressure, then pull it off, and then you have a bare wire again. Then you would take it like this if you needed to have that half circle for the installation, and bend it back like that, and you're set to go. Then you're simply just going to attach that back to each side and tighten these back down. It's really not that hard. Then you're going to gently bend these wires back and push it securely back into the outlet box. Then you're just going to use your Phillips screwdriver to tighten these screws back up. Then you're going to put your outlet cover back on, insert that little screw, use your flathead, and tighten it back up. And then you should be done, other than turning the power back on. Now, like I said, if you don't feel comfortable working with electricity, you can always give us a call at 470-473-7038, or go to our website at preclosellc.com, located here in Ellenwood, Georgia. I hope the video wasn't too long, and I hope you like it, and thank you for watching.